Hi everyone, it's Chris here. I'm going to run through pretty quickly, I hope, some of the more interesting New Zealand releases on vinyl from the last month or so. Starting off with one which has had quite a bit of publicity. Features, X Features is the album, a compilation of singles, compilation tracks and unreleased tracks from the Features, who were recorded mostly around 1980 and put out at the time through WaihekeRecords. This is out on Flying Nun. Features include this dude here, Chris Orange, who's a resident here on Waiheke Island, and he started off in the punk scene, as did a lot of the people in this band. Jed Town was the main songwriter. You got Carol Bergen on vocals, and James Pinker on drums. So yeah, I think Carol Bergen must have played a bit of guitar as well. And they're an interesting band because they, like you saw with the British punk scene, where it became maybe a little bit stagnant in there, but then you got this great splintering and diversity into post-punk. This is kind of some of the stuff that Features were exploring as well. Just kind of great songwriting and maybe a more nuanced sound, and some great kind of angular, sharp sounds in here, pinned by Chris's great bass playing. Features, X Features, well worth picking up. Another post-punkish kind of release. This was recorded and released by Flying Nun in 1984. It's just been reissued by Dark Entries, an American label. I haven't seen it come out in New Zealand at all. We have to bring it into the country. Phantom Fourth with EEPP. So this is kind of one of the, if you think back to that early 80s Flying Nun time, one of the lesser known of the bands perhaps. You've got some female vocals on here. It's a bit more kind of quirky, experimental, kind of post-punkish, so little insert in there. Phantom Fourth. Then jumping ahead to more current release from the great Christchurch label Melted Ice Cream, who've moved from cassettes into doing some great stuff on vinyl, releasing a lot of bands from their own town. And this, like Civil Union and other of their records from earlier in the year I'm a real fan of, is a kind of modern take on post-punk. So I hear little touches of things like early Public Image Limited, which is awesome. I love that kind of stuff in here. Again, kind of the angularity of it and the menace of it. I'm really impressed with this 5-track EP from the Dance Asthmatics, Lifetime of Secretion. Out, as I say, on Melted Ice Cream. I'll show you the little, that's the insert, or not the insert, that's the inner sleeve, but there is also lyric insert, if you can make out the handwriting, and suitably audible collage art which suits the nature of the music, enclosed as well. Another one I'd recommend actually, Dance Asthmatics. Okay, so moving on. This is a prolific electronic artist, and he's put out a number of acclaimed EPs over the last couple of years, and an album. This is the second album. It's called From Patterns to Details. It's on Subtext Recordings. He seems to move from label to label quite a bit. Oliver Perryman is from Wellington originally, though he's based in the UK and Europe now. What I love about this record, and you can kind of tell maybe from the cover artwork as well, is, and I think I read that he went out and did some field recordings, and then he's heavily processed and manipulated those sounds to create this kind of electronic, dark, atmospheric, intense soundscape. Yeah, I'm really, really liking this. It's great to see some classic albums that were released originally on CD now coming out on vinyl, and from 1998, The Render is a Dream of the Sea, probably my favourite of their albums, is now out for the first time on vinyl through Tinsel-Ears. They've done a really nice job of this, using some of the similar artwork. I believe the artwork is by Mary Rose Crook. The front here, on cover photo, no, I was wrong there. It's not. It's by Brent Hargraves. But the you know, these kind of nautical themes coming through on the cover artwork. If you don't know anything about the renderers, the main two in here are Brian Crook and Mary Rose Crook. Brian Crook plays this blistering guitar and always on the very verge of kind of falling into kind of complete chaos, but he has this kind of restraint and holds it back. It's really great guitar playing. Mary Rose Crook with his country tinged voice, those two elements come together really nicely on this. So you've got the lyrics and artwork. So the artwork differs from the original CD release, as I say, from 1998, and yeah, this is highly recommended. Great album. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear this on in the background, but this is some New Zealand free jazz experimentation from Hermione Johnson and Stefan Neville. Stefan Neville I've talked about before on here because he's pumice, someone I'm a real fan of, and here the two of them are playing. Well, Stefan's instrument is, well, one of his instruments is drums. He's a multi-instrumentalist. So here he predominantly plays drums, and Hermione predominantly plays prepared piano. Although they do alternate on a couple of tracks, swap instruments. So you could say that they clatter and bang their way through this album, which is out on Feeding True Records. It's called Scrum, and the cover artwork, I think, you know, the scrum from rugby, that kind of impact, maybe is being what's being alluded to on the cover artwork, but yeah, I think, you know, as I say, kind of bang and clatter the way through, but I find it a really intriguing record, great listen, and nice to see some New Zealand releases in that kind of free jazz experimental genre. Feeding True Records. This is completely different from that. Lamp of the Universe, which is spiritual, psychedelic, long, kind of almost kind of in places proggy play, from the Waikato. Craig Williamson, here he is on the back, playing one of these sitar-like Indian instruments. So it has got that kind of Indian, kind of raga kind of feel to it as well. And he's fairly prolific under the name Lamp of the Universe. This album's called Hidden Knowledge, like most Lamp of the Universe releases, on a German label called WaihekeRecords. And they, I'll show you the inner here. So they always do a fantastic job of the releases. Kind of really glossy gatefold sleeve, and 500 copies of this. It's numbered. This is number 19. 200 on black, 200 on green, and this is the Die Hard edition. So it comes with, I think they might all come with this poster of the artwork. As you can see, there's this kind of intricate artwork which kind of picks up on that's those same themes of spirituality and ancient mysticism and so on. Because it's the Die Hard edition, it comes with the slip mat, printed with some of the cover artwork, and this is the Die Hard, so it's 100 copies on this awesome splatter vinyl. As I say, Clostridium always do a really stand-up job of their releases. Their website can be a bit difficult to navigate for those of us who don't speak German, and you've got to bring them into the country. Although some of his releases do turn up on Bandcamp later on. Here's another band, Ark of Ascent, which is a bit heavier, though still in that kind of spiritual psyche realm, but heavier. A new album from them coming next year. He always does some interesting stuff. I'll give you a couple of song titles to give you the flavour of it. Spacecraft, Dawn of Nebula, Netherworlds. And the last piece I want to show here, an outstanding release from Grapefruit Records, their 2017 release. 2016 release. This is RMHQ, Roy Montgomery Headquarters, a 4-album set, which was recorded with the mind of being released as the set. It wasn't just a compilation of various recordings done over the years. Each of the 4 records on here has a slightly different flavour. So Roy Montgomery kind of describes himself as being in E minor. He has this deep baritone, and this kind of great guitar style. It's kind of these kind of layered atmospheric guitar sounds, and so you've got each of these has got these kind of tree ring prints on. It's that little insert here with some background on Roy Montgomery and a short little essay of him talking about recording this. So you've got a couple of the albums feature vocals, and a couple of just guitar instrumentals. So yeah, really outstanding. Grapefruit have done some great releases in the past, such as a Dead Sea 4 LP set. That one was recordings done over a number of years. Something interesting about the first 2 records, at least on this, that he takes a couple of well-known songs and reimagines and reinterprets them. So on here, which record is this one? This is Tropic of Anodyne. He does You Always Get What You Deserve, which is a reinterpretation of You Can't Always Get What You Want. And on the second one, which is the I'll just find it for you. Yeah, this one here, which is Dark Motif Dancehall. He has a track on here called Slow Heroes, which is an instrumental reinterpretation based around some of the ideas of David Bowie's Heroes, and some kind of nice, kind of noisy, kind of krautrocky sounds on this record. So a lot to get through, the 4 records, but really a rewarding listen, a beautiful release, really, really nicely done from Grapefruit. How it all fits in this box, and you can pick it up locally through Flying Out. I recommend it. Tracks from most of these records have appeared, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them have appeared on the last couple of radio shows. You can check that out at mixcloud.com/countingthebeat, and as always, check out facebook.com/countingthebeat for what I'm buying, what I'm listening to, vinyl news, New Zealand vinyl news that is. Cheers, thanks.